My name is Devon Riddick. I have lived here since 1989. I was a Berkeley High School student. My stepfather originally rented my apartment, which is apartment number 8 on the top, in 1970. And I have the original rental agreement on hand. Hearing that this building was going to be torn down, it really hurt me. You know, I've been losing sleep over it, and I'm just worried about, you know, where I'm going to go next. You know, because of this pandemic, you know, it's affected a lot of our jobs, and a lot of people are stressed out, and there's a lot of civil unrest, and it's just very difficult for the tenants to be dealing with something like this at this time. It's difficult for us because we don't know what our job situations are like, and we don't know what our living situation is going to be like. So we're hoping that UC has a heart and is willing to help us. That's what we're hoping for. Thank you.
Woo! Yeah.
UC Board of Regents due to approve the largest gift ever made to UC Berkeley, a $300 million 14-story dormitory. The Helen Diller Anchor House will be able to house 772 students. It's expected to offer transformative living conditions across from the campus, but that project would involve knocking down 2 historic buildings and a 112-year-old rent-controlled building.
This is your home. You've been here since what year?
1989.
1989. You grew up here.
Yeah.
Why tear it down? There's nothing wrong with it. That's gentrification.
Our original series, Project Home, and a battle over who deserves affordable housing in Berkeley.
Susie Steimel takes a look at the last-ditch effort to preserve this affordable housing.
Varsha Sarvesh just graduated from UC Berkeley. Varsha says she supports more housing, but knows students don't want to further gentrify Berkeley. If Theo and Kim's apartment was on Berkeley's city property, these units could not be destroyed. Berkeley's city law requires that rent-controlled units be preserved and that tenants be allowed to stay. But on UC Berkeley's campus, that law does not apply.
I would just ask the university to move slowly here and consider the loss of these units as something that would be a tragedy.
City Council member Kate Harrison, she kept emphasizing that while it's important to preserve these units, of course, for the people who are living in them, it's more about the units themselves, because if Berkeley loses these affordable units, they're gone forever. Ken and Liz.
Wow.
This is the foundation of the exact movement that's happening across the state and across the country, is to prevent displacement. There's no reason to tear this down. We have all this commercial space that the UCs could use. They ever so slightly came in and said, get ready to move. People are dying everywhere, but get ready to move. And with that, for Margie, we fight the power, and for all of you, I'll be here to support you. And they're gonna have one hell of a fight to get us out of here.
We are unstoppable. Another world is possible. 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 Police, fuck the police. Fuck the police.
On behalf of the association, the Associated Students of the University of California, the representative body of more than 40,000 students at the University of California, I am here to express our support for the 1921 Walnut Street Association's stance on preserving their housing against UC Berkeley. It is important for students to recognize that our presence in Berkeley has an impact on the existing residential Berkeley community. We must do our part to ensure that we actively share the city, not gentrify its space. The tenants of 1921 Walnut Street are representative of the Berkeley community. some having lived in this rent-controlled apartment building for longer than the majority of students present on our campus. The housing crisis is not a limited experience to college students, and we must recognize that displacing the tenants of our community would only further the impact that UC Berkeley and its students has on the City of Berkeley.
We must demand that people pay attention, that we pay attention, that they're not going to push people around and think because they're the UC Regents, they're excluded from being a public officer. Being a public officer means, in this country at least, that we listen to the people.
This 111-year-old building is a perfect example of how historic resources often provide affordable housing. Without this building, Berkeley will lose a source of lower cost, rent-controlled housing and will gain nothing except potentially more homeless. The building must be preserved.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
UC Berkeley has reached an agreement with the City of Berkeley. The city has agreed to drop lawsuits over the university's increased enrollment, a planned faculty housing development, and a volleyball center. The city's also promised not to oppose two proposed housing developments.
I'm so excited about this agreement, Jesse. What benefits the city benefits the university. It improves the experience for our students, for our faculty, for our staff. We grew up together, the campus and the university, the city and the university, the campus and the university, the city and the university, and I'm thrilled about the agreement.
I am also thrilled, and we have a symbiotic relationship, and I really think this builds a very strong future of a close and collaborative relationship between the city and the university, and the support of projects around the campus, the work around building housing to serve the needs of students in the community. These are all things the city very strongly supports, and we're really excited by the building on the strong partnership that we've developed over the years.
The agreement enables us to move forward on what's our highest priority, and I think it's one of the city's highest priorities, is more housing for our students.
Absolutely.
Our highest priority, and I think it's one of the city's highest priorities, is more housing for our students.
Absolutely.
More housing for our students.
Absolutely, which is important for our whole community to make sure that we address our housing crisis for our students and the broader housing crisis in our community.
Right.
Thank you, President.
You can try, UC Regents, you can try, but our city, we won't let you gentrify. You've raised the rents in Berkeley with developers like Jackie. So take a tip and leave us where we be. So leave our homes, UC Regents, leave our homes. Don't you own enough homes of your own? For many, many years we've fought you without fear. And we'll fight you for many more to come. We're not admin, we're not landlords, we don't own. We're renters and proud we are to be. So fuck your corporate seal, these buildings you can't steal. Keep your hands up 19211 Walnut Street! So leave our homes, UC Regents, leave our homes. Don't you own enough homes of your own? For many, many years we fought you without fear. And we'll fight you for many more to come. One more time! Leave our homes, UC Regents. students leave our home. Don't you own up homes of your own?